She's an animal. Hey. A freaking party animal. What's a party animal?
This is your song?
Yeah, that's my song.
What's the name of your song?
It's called Partly Animal. I wrote it. See, Jerry. Mlitoa wapi mzee? I don't know. I just enjoyed this a bit too much. For a country that has so many tech names, they're not doing it. I mean,
Mm.
you know what's the best pickup line to use on a big one Tinder?
I no.
Party in that. Oh my god. Wow.
Hi guys, welcome back to More to Follow. It's been quite an interesting episode. This is going to be an interesting episode, and we'll tell you why in a few minutes. But let me start by asking my guests on my left to introduce themselves.
Which one is the left?
It is your left. No, but not you. That far left.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fairs. Hi guys. So my moniker for today is. How do you say this? Okay. Mukite wana meme. Yeah, Mukite wana meme. I think. Yeah. It was a drumming order from the Bukusu tribe.
A drumming what?
Warrior.
Oh, I've heard warrior.
Yeah.
Mm.
Among the Bukusu stories told of an orphan boy. He was born in the 1790s. To rise against all odds to beat war drums and consequently uniting the people of Bukusuland. Yeah. His parents had been killed by the Teso, and then they ended up killing some of the Teso people. Quite a dramatic.
Hi, and I'm Judy for this episode. We have a special guest. I will allow him to introduce himself.
Welcome everybody, my name is Mugambi the baldest MC in the EAC. Come on, patent pending, obviously. Yeah, Mugambi actor, singer-songwriter, voice artist, commercial model, host, moderator. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I do for a living through and through. Did you say the baldest MC or the baddest?
Baldest.
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 Sizing wacha my invisible hair ikilie kidogo the scalp needs to.
For our viewers, can they see why you're the baldest? Yes.
Oh yes, because I'm bald. I'm actually bald.
There we go.
Maybe that's why I'm Kiara.
Anaitwa Ikiara, si Kihara.
What's wrong with it? That's so funny. That's actually funny. Actually, in Kikuyu it would make sense, yeah, but in Meru, in Kimeru, it does not. It's actually a person who's it's a name for someone who has wealth. So in our space, guys who have threshing field in you, because we have a lot of wheat in Meru, and places where now once the stalks have been cut, you've harvested all your wheat and whatever stocks zimebaki, you come and put them together in bundles of like hay and place them in a kasailo. So hizo vitu ndio mwenye akona hizo vitu mob inaitwa Kiara. So that becomes a thing.
Oh.
That's where because my grandfather was Gitonga to Ikiara. So that became a name that passed on to all of us.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And Gitonga is the rich man's outfit.
Gitonga is also Meru.
Yeah, Gitonga is Kimeru as well.
And Kikuyu? It's still Gitonga.
Yeah, it just depends on where you put the stress on the name.
Oh,
Ours is Gitonga. Gitonga or something. Even Mugambi, it's Mugambi. This is Mugabi, I think. Yes.
Okay, didn't know that.
Oh,
We're just leave it as long as. All right.
I've always been curious. Do bald people on their head? Not hair. Head. Yes. Yeah. See how moisturize, man. Unaanzianga tu huku tu. Unaweka way into
to your face.
You don't go like this.
From your face to your head. It's from the head to the face.
And then it just feels nice. Imagine ukioga tu maji inaingia tu.
Na ukinyeshewa pia.
Man,
There's no like, wow.
it's beautiful, man. This is
Now that we're actually on that topic, we'd want to know. Nisa, I'm sorry. Sherry Holmes, thank you so much for this space. Again, we feel very at home, clearly, and we're glad to have you in our space. What do we want to say about Sherry Holmes today?
They're not just located where it is that we are.
Yeah. No, not yet. Yeah.
watakuja wengi.
If you want to know which one, talk to Sherry Holmes. But until then. Oh, yeah. So if you'd want to see the beautiful space we're in, again, go back to Sherry Holmes. And, well, yeah. We have Mugambi.
Mugambi. Nairobi person.
Mugambi. You have Mugambi in the house, guys. And well, Mugambi. We have Mugambi in our space, and we'd like to know from when did you become Mugambi? Not ideally not from birth, but I'm looking for a story of the person we know now, the baldest MC.
So
And feel free to go back all the way to primary school if that's where your story begins.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah, she's putting her on weird. I never thought I'd be a creative person ever. I used to think I'm going to do sciences because that's how I was socialized. That's like I have the aptitude for all that stuff. When I enjoy math, science, whatever, I can't quite tell you at the point in my life I study, but seriously, for math or whatever, because I used to pass. I never thought of in high school. I'm coming in, people are telling me, "Hey, utapata 52 math." I'm like,
52.
Because we used to get 90s.
In high school.
I know, yeah. Because this is some of us. And I used to, it sounds like bragging now, but guys, I used to literally enjoy that computers, physics, the things that people don't like. They're like, hey, rahisi. Chemistry, and I'm doing moles. I'm like, funny. So yeah, I never really knew I'd do this, but and as much as I was smart, because I didn't like studying per se, and I knew, oh, it's fine. I used to make bad jokes. I'm constantly naughty, that's so bored. I still do make bad jokes. Yeah. Now I just get paid for them. Anyway, I nilikuwa na imitate kila mtu from my younger brother. I used to imitate teachers. Hey, there was a teacher, Mr. Kengori. You think you can imitate me just because you are passing in class? Huh? And it didn't help. And now he lived in Nyeri at some point. So after I came from, because we were living initially in Athi River, and then moved to Nyeri. So for the first time in my life, I'm hearing people having like thick Kikuyu accents. I'm like, so as a teacher, hey, now she's now passed. She passed on a while ago. I think it was 2018, but she used to teach CRE, and that's the first time I heard why, what, when. And you know the girls in the class. I'm like, girls? What are girls?
Girls.
Like shields? No, girls. Because me got kina ningao. It was bad. So I think by virtue of just being mischievous, but by virtue of just being constantly in class, making fun of people, making fun of teachers, making voices, running around in class. Me sisomi, me go like, wacha ni have fun. So me na have a lot of fun. Niko unanipata kwa noise makers list zote. Hata walimu walikuwa wanaingia class wakijua tu atatandika Mugambi. Whether or not Dari ilikuwa na kelele, nani atachaguliwa? Mugambi kuja. Ian kuja. Sijui nani kuja, but Mugambi atachapwa. Pendo hata nikiwa nimenyamaza.
Utachapwa.
But at that time sikuwa naitwa Mugambi, but yeah. Still for another day. Ni mbaya. Actually, no. Theophilus nilimpenda Mungu. No, it's not Theophilus.
Onesmus Mugambi. Onsmonth.
No, my name is Onas.
My name is Ones.
One.
Yeah, but then once.
Wait,
So came to at in high school still same viewpoint here, nataka kufanya sciences whatever. However, I always felt like I didn't want to do conventional careers. Every time people are talking about I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I'm just start thinking I don't want to be any of that.
What would you answer when they ask?
Mi nilikuwa tu nachagua anything. There was a time I said paleontologist. There was a time I said archaeologist. There was a time I said I want to be a psychologist. There was a time I said I want to be a teacher, a pilot. I said so many things growing up. Lawyer, a civil engineer, an actuary at some point, for actual science. So there's so many things. Computer science eventually came in by virtue of some guys coming to a school, to a high school, and then talking about how the life is on more or less easier mode, quote unquote, because hakuna more convention. You can literally work from home. And me hearing about coding while you're at home, yani naamka nashika laptop na nafanya kazi home. Nafanya hiki,
nafinya dola.
nafinya natoa dola. Hiyo kitu I really wanted to do.
Wait, sure. Can we ask which school you were in?
Oh yeah, Starry Boy Certain School. Yeah. So did that, wanted to do tech for a while, and then I realized, hey, guys, I don't really like tech evil. I mean, I pass. It's not hard, but for me,
Save,
but
Ukiwestaria ndio unaweza
commercials,
Andy. My guys.
first of all, yeah. Lakini hizi Jumi ni break bro, utanita shoti. Okay, sawa. 1-1.
the ref will play on.
Uko like wacha niendelee. Yeah, so finished school there, nikachagua some course campo, just tech because it was more or less embedded systems.
And this is UON?
UON, yeah, UON. So nikakaka huko. But even in high school, I had gone to debate club just to figure out what people are doing. I was in drama. Ile time watu wanafaa kuwa na settle down into school, ndio mimi naanza kufanya vitu extra. Mugambi ni form 3 anaenda nini bado music fest na drama fest. Si unafaa kuwa umetulia. Sinapita bro. So I didn't really think of it evil, but also I wasn't fully engaged because there was still this half-mindedness of do I really want to do this, or am I just having it as a hobby, or as a way to just go and talk to girls? Because that's your goal in high school as a that was my goal in high school as a guy going for gigs. Hata wewe ulikuwa hapo sino unaona tulikuwa tunafikiria funky bado hivi hadi unakuwa Catholic bana unaenda kwa YCS unaenda hiyo SDA unaenda event SDA. What do you do man? Sio kwa sababu gani uko high school
Zika za Del Monte.
unachapua hapo chafulia na Novida kunaanza kufanya dawa na Novida. Okay, and then
so much the Pathfinder.
Yeah, so anyway, away from that.
When yes that?
Maybe Methodist. Well, I was raised Methodist-ish. Now I'm not like that. So
The method to the madness.
sawa. So nikaendelea. Acha hope found
It's
theater.
true. He says it does a lot of method acting.
Hiyo kitu iko na connotations zake, iko na bad definitions throughout Kenya. Sisi sema method acting. Wewe unasema good acting is just acting. Na tutakuja huko baadaye. Theater, but found theater in campus. And then
How? Like in what avenue?
Because shule yetu ilikuwa Chiromo. People who are doing main campus things ndio wanafanya the arts. I didn't know that then. Someone asked for, I think Carol Kuyo. She asked in our group, a fellowship of church I used to go. I still go to. Like, we need volunteers. So me and another dude volunteered. Tunajua ni nini.
As typical as it is for Mugambi to The
That's not
extra is
funny?
extra in
Okay.
this one.
So much fun. Yeah,
Mm.
so volunteered. I find out it's a UNEP. Was it a UNEP or my UNEP PA project? Because then there was a whole issue for sex for grades, and they wanted to have a presentation by University of Nairobi Traveling Theatre
Mm.
together with some other guys kutoka nje to within the school wa kuongelea situation. We had a whole thing going on. We made a skit, and then it worked. So when we went over, the first time I realized people actually study performing arts. Like, I am not so engaged for it. I thought it was a hobby. So that's when I decided to lock in. First role I ever had professionally, quote unquote, well, that was actually paid for, was as a news reporter in that skit. And then the next one, ikakuwa an ugly woman. I know, yeah, you can't tell.
Ulikuwa.
I was another play. The next play I was in, I was an ugly woman. Then the next one, I was still same play. Within the same play, I was an ugly woman and a musician who used to prey on little girls, giving them HIV. And then, ilikuwa mbaya. We're like, "Pah!" Ilikuwa mbaya, man. And then I think that's when I was asked about film by a friend of mine, the late Sheldon Ovinia. I was like, bro, ushafanya film? Unafaa kutry. Niko na film fulani naandika nitakutafuta. So that's how I got into the whole space of film eventually. And then audition. Kujaribu hapa na pale, doing music as well, doing whatever. Yes, it was just from that, everything else happened. To the point where I decided to eventually go bald and became the baldest MC in the EAC. Come on now, come on. Yeah. Yeah, cannot relate? Okay, sorry. Me bad.
No. It is. I think you threw me off kidogo.
Okay.
So that's been your story up until today. How did you? I think from that is how you discovered everything else you're doing, saizi. Because it's a lot. Let's be honest. It's genuinely a lot. From emceeing, CG voiceover, modeling,
Music, whatever. Yeah,
music. By music, do you mean
I sing. Yeah,
any songs you heard?
I've not put them out there. Vizuri, I only have 2 on Spotify now.
Can we hear something?
That's-
Kindly grace our mics can support your.
I've actually put
It's not
out.
support sana.
Mnataka ni kitu nimesha put out ama
Si lazima hata kwanza tupe kitu snippet ya kitu tujisikie bado.
Iba.
So there's a jazz
Na
song.
DJV ndo wako hapa. Tuambie tu. Just tell us.
Okay,
Yes.
fanya hivi basi.
You know what? It makes sense. What is happening on Thursday? What?
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Oh, you do know.
I didn't know your position last week.
My baby's got tattoos, short skirts and high heel shoes, and you know she's got the room. When you see all she's made to swoon, I must be lucky to have it all. With a baby they want to own. But see, I'm writing all day long about that major character flaw. She's an animal, a freaking party animal. What's it hapo basi?
This is your song?
Yeah, that's your song.
What's the name of your song?
It's called Partly Animal. I wrote it.
Si Jerry.
Mlitoa wapi mzee? Alikuwa ana joke. Kama umekaa tu, kushow vile unaweza tumia hiki. Nilikuwa naandika hii song tena. Nilikuwa natoka KNT. I was walking to I was doing a student project at ADMI at some point. And then walking from KNT to there was an EDM song I was listening to. So I'm like, okay, what if I make a song that's jazzy and so words started just coming out. Because the song was called Party Animal or some animal, something. Just it had the word Party Animal within the EDM song. I'm like, what if I make this jazz? And I'm just like, notes up. Verse 1, verse 2, and then verse 1, chorus. And then I was like, alternate verse 2. Then I have a chorus and like a bridge up. So I just have the whole story. By the time I'm getting to huko, niko na song. Nishaandika. Nikitembea kwa barabara.
Wait, you're writing as you're walking?
Yeah, see, on the notes app. I was doing
Okay.
notes and then recording something, doing kumbuke that, whatever. So from there, That's when I realized, oh, actually, I actually like this a bit too much as well. So I'm like, okay, let me just. I like it, not like that, but enough to write some songs because now that's a jazzy one. I've written a reggae ones. I've written. I just mix genres for myself because me I write how I feel. It's not I'm an artist who only does indie because indie is so instrumental to my life. No shit to anybody. It just speaks to me. I'm not one of those artists. This is how I feel right now, and this is what makes me happy. And we make if it can make you laugh, all this stuff, amazing. If it cannot, because whatever I have out, there's an EDM song we did with Jambia, and then there's another rumba song that we did with Sense. Ni mbaya okay, ni funny ukiona video utacheka because we did a whole video. It was beautifully done. Watu kakina Akusha whatever, it was a very beautifully done video. Hadi tukaitwa na Berlin Music Videos Awards. They're like
Interesting.
I'm looking at my email. I'm like, okay, we just saw Sarah the music video. It was beautiful. I'm like, okay, thank. It's not thank. Because it was just out of there. I'm like, thank. Come on, to thank Junko. Germany are watching this. What do you mean? And yeah, just gave me some sort of validation. So how I do all this my things. See,
Like maybe by grace.
Experiment. Grace of God, definitely grace of God. Because anyone who would have asked me in 2020 what I'd be doing with my life, I would never tell them
this is what you ended up doing. Yeah.
I'd have been a tech bro somewhere talking about crypto or Web3 and other spaces and AI. Yeah, because that's a whole space and how AI and coding in how people are programmers wanakasirika juu AI inakuja kuchukua kazi yao, so you don't really have to be an amazing coder per se anymore. But like it's a whole thing. Those are the conversations we're talking about. How the space for tech in East Africa is different from the Nigerian tech space and the West African tech space. Those would have been the conversations. But Sasa, I don't know. I just enjoyed this a bit too much.
A country that has so many tech brains, they're not doing well.
I mean,
genuinely, like, think about the number of tech startups.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of them. Like in tech space. Yeah, I know some of them just are like some people who are career startup people. Like they create a startup, get funding, round 1 you're funding, round 2 you're funding, and then they're like, okay, let me do another one. Because now they're gonna survive on that thing for a while. Because nilirealize kitu imekufa, okay, tuanze ingine. How do you keep getting this grants? How do you keep doing this? Yeah, it's a sad space to be in.
You find their personal bank accounts, they look like the funding as well.
Okay, like, Wewe ni mtu mzima atakuwa na bibi na watoto.
When I was telling you guys his biggest problem is the postman.
We can see it. We are starting to see it. We're starting to see it. Msikubali hiyo Andy sikubali.
Kwani una hasira?
At least ana drive Benz.
Acha niulize swali. So what I've heard is you've been doing this since 2020.
2018, I think was.
That would be what, like the last 8, this being your 8th year?
Yeah, I think this is my 8th year now. Because 2018, then first actual gig in the industry, I think was in 2021, 2021 that part.
For truth be told, I think there are people who've done it.
I was not even seen on there.
So it's just an extra.
See, not that one. There's another one we had done. Some downy concentrate plus ya papo sijui ilikuwa nini, ilikuwa kitambo. That was my first nilipwa pesa kidogo nikanunua my first phone ya Mugambi.
Nilikuwa nangoja usome number. How much it was? Kidogo labda ni 80k.
As 80k ilikuwa ni leads ndio unalipa. So mimi nilijua tu haikuwa less. Haikuwa 8.
Haikufika T.
Haikufika 8k the way.
Nini, I don't think everyone else who's trying to get into the industry has had the same grace you've had. Relax.
Usiongelee watu wanaweza niumiza bro, wacha.
Unamwambia can I call you later?
Siwezi ongelesha usikasudi bro. Tutaelewana. Tafadhali na bring in English.
How have you managed to do all the things you've done so far?
Other than the grace of God, because hiyo ndio inakuwa number one.
Like, what's step one? Yeah, step one for someone trying to do almost the same things you're doing.
If you want to do any same things I'm doing, don't. Because
that's true.
Just don't. Because we're not the same kind of person. I'm not in an egotistical and better than you kind of way. It's in a. I think I have delusional love for this stuff that not everyone might possess. And by virtue of being so delusional in the love, I enjoy it to the point where I'm like, let me try this and that and that and that. Oh, that looks nice. I want to know how people do this. And that's how I ended up knowing about voiceover work. That's how I ended up knowing about some modeling things here and there. That's how I ended up knowing about MCing and acting for film, TV, theater, singing, musicals, recording, going for competitions. All these things were, and also networking within the industry to the point where I realized, I don't need to know to start networking up because it doesn't work in our space. Evil. Don't network up. Network horizontally. Because even though when you mmezoeana now, once they get capital to work on things that actually matter to the world, in that scale, it will be easier for them to work with people who they feel are their peers as opposed to kakijana kako huko down. Because right now there's nothing I'm going to tell Nick Mutuma. Nick, if I've never worked with him or like from a zero starter, and kuongelesha Nick has done stuff over the years to the point where now he's a producer, director. He's done stuff for himself. That makes sense. There's no I'm networking up there because Nick is talking to his peers. They're creating with his peers now. All the shows that I'm making, peers working. However, it doesn't mean that kama uko na skills that you can offer, how do I work na yeye? No, your time will come. It will take your time. It will take you some time, but inaweza hata kosa take time. But it's easier for me to work with people who are doing their own stuff and they're also on the up and up because it will make sense. Kuna time tuko na kachini go like, yeah, nilikuwa najua kina Judy, nilikuwa najua kina Brian Raf, nilikuwa najua kina Sam Algo, nilikuwa najua kina nani Brand Fura, because these are people I have up at reach. These are my friends. Those are people I've worked with. Akina Chadota because they're doing things in theater. Akina Zaitun in music. Akina nani, you can say hao ni watu tunaweza ongelesha and we can work with because they're here now. Sisi enda kusema naongea na nameless. Nameless hata anijui.
Not yet anyway.
To him ndio niko nameless. Because it's just something that you realize over time.
I don't know if it's just me, but there's something you've said that to date still very much scares me. I'm sure I'll let you ask your question, kidogo Raf, but the idea of hopping from one project to another. Yes, especially as someone who was taught to depend on a 9 to 5. Like, what do? You go to school, study, be an engineer. My dad was calling unto me, be Dr. Kori is the word that he kept using. I don't think I ever saw that doctor come today because I don't like medicine to that extent. But the creative bit feels nice. But I still need to come, like I still need money at the end of the day. And we were not taught how to make money from the creative side. I think these are things I'm learning on the corporate end. I'm like, those people, he's making money from doing a voiceover? Yeah. How? Yes. It's even scarier now that there's AI, but yes.
It's still change personality. And for example, you can't tell me change sauti ya Johnson Mwakazi or Jeff Koinange just because there's AI.
But then the thing is, do I need a Johnson Wakazi voiceover or do I need a voiceover done at the end of the day?
Do you want?
At some point, and we'll get there soon enough, we will be too saturated by
AI?
It's
already
when you
happened.
see- when you see these ads for AAR,
Oh.
where there's the advertising insurance, when you look at the lady, like it makes sense. One side is banging, the other side is fine. But when you look at it, you resonate with it. You feel like I really want to buy this product. Not really.
There's actually a template I've been seeing most designs. They have a certain texture, a certain feel. Like I know there's something good you're promoting, but what I'm seeing is the AI because I've seen it on another brand. I've seen it. Multiple brands end up looking similar
Or with 6 fingers.
with the the same texture.
The thing is,
Ugh.
once it's there and it's too accessible, you'll also want a human touch to things that you can relate to. That's why hata tuseme nini, the Tilly Norwoods of AI acting and the people who are coming out here to do this project that are AI, they will look good to some extent. They will kind of give you that, oh, AI inatengeneza music mzuri sana huko nje and whatever.
I've seen Nani, what's his name? Snoop Dogg was the first one to release an AI sort of like video. Or maybe the hype is only in being the pioneer to do it first. Not necessarily.
Probably. And also, it won't really replace art.
No?
It won't. People will still find ways to do things. Sawa, the typewriter replaced people who was replaced by a computer. Doesn't mean that people didn't learn how to use a computer and make better stuff from there. Then now we have graphic designers.
So it improves. It doesn't necessarily
improve all of us. Eventually, to improve sote. Tutacha tu kuwa lax and mediocre by virtue. Yeah, you can't coast on being mediocre anymore. You'll have to actually learn a new skill and other things. You remain relevant and actually people can resonate with your brand or niche up or something.
The guys who used to pick up poop after the chariots are the ones who opened car washes when they stopped
picking poop.
chariots, yeah.
All right.
From the horses, that is.
Okay.
Like,
So do the horses in your home area?
No.
You guys have horses in your home area. Wow. Okay, yeah, you're in buy.
Moment of silence, guys.
Story of stability. I think story stability is not a...
That didn't scare you going like you had the opportunity to focus on.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. Mine was a delusional love for stuff. Mine is a delusional love that eventually taught me. Mugambi do like 6 projects at the same time.
Out of love, or because that's the only way to sustain.
It's a mix of both, because now if I know this month I'm doing like 3 voiceovers, voiceover moja italipa 100k, ingine italipa 2,000, ingine italipa 1,500. It'll aina kuna nini, it depend pia na whatever you're doing. Not actual figures though, but if I'm doing like 3 voiceovers, because how long am I doing a voiceover for?
An hour.
An hour tops. And then I can still go to rehearsal, work for a play, go to set for my few hours, finish. Inakufunza tu a lot of time management and what meeting to do, and because we had something to do.
And just to be clear, it is possible to earn 100k on a 1-hour shoot for a voiceover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like unaweza make dough. Unaweza one is even like up and down, because I know people who've done projects that wamelipa pesa for like hii ndio inaninunulia
Gari
hii ndio inanisort.
from just one project.
Yeah, from just like one project, and it worked for them well, because the people who be paid good money, especially if now you're at a certain level of, this one is a celebrity. You can actually ask for this money and they'll pay this money. It's a personality. The whole rate card tumepewa.
Wacha niulize swali. Because in my understanding, kuomoka in the sense of a corporate body, you've gotten to a point where your pay bracket, you're able to ask or demand for X amount of money. And this is on a month-to-month basis because it's a job. For for me to say nimeomoka, it's to what extent? I mean, we're looking at you're being paid per project basis. And there are some, not all of them actually bring in the same amount of money. For you to say you're at a good level, what does that look like? Because I also understand being famous does not equate to money in the bank.
It's a branding thing. It's also how you present yourself. That's why people who have a social currency planning, it's easier for them to decide, let me go into marketing, let me go become an influencer and use this to leverage, use my socials and whatever to leverage money and whatever. Unapata mtu can have like 6-7 brand deals for like a couple of months na amepewa lump sums all of a sudden. We shika 2M, shika 1M, shika 4M, shika hii for this amount of time tutengeneze this kind of content, or you now you're a brand ambassador and do this and this and this and this. When you get to a point where everyone knows your household name and you can still leverage out brand deals here and there, and you can still work on your own things and own them, not just be an employee or a contracted worker for a set. I think you're to the height of usanii, and makes sense because even the biggest art, even in music, the biggest artists we have right now, most of them are in labels. And in labels, they're given a certain quota to get to. You need 5 good studio albums, and the splits within this place are 2070 or 2080 or 80-30, 30-70. Unajua hizo splits will work however, and you still remember there's recoupment of so many things. You're still an employee of this place. You're still
money still needs to come back,
yeah, for like 5 years or whatever amount of time. If you don't understand that contract, you're still not owning your stuff. However, if you're an artist who either makes a very good deal for themselves or decides to be independent, gets themselves this brand deals kivyake, gets to actually publish, and he owns and publishes their own masters, music yake inakuwa very big, anaziipeleka whatever, he owns every single coin that's coming to them. This artist owns everything. The future is in IP for many creative people. Lazima ukuwe na your own IP ndio it makes sense for you ukisema nimeomoka. Because now you can resell it, you can do whatever you want to do with it because it's yours. You want to put it on YouTube and add AdSense yako. Oh, unataka kuweka on films, upewe hiyo do na anytime watu sawa. You want to put it out in a studio album predominantly sawa. You want to do your own tickets and whatever sawa. Your own shows, get tickets for that, still promote, have merchandising sawa. That's good success. However, if you're only always doing things for people, you're another cog in the machine. You just umeomoka, quote unquote, in people's eyes, but hauna anything to call your own. You're in your studio.
I mean, at the end of the day, success for anyone would be to be able to own your
own stuff.
You need to step out of the shadow and stand on your head.
Let me tell you.
Wacha kusema hivyo bwana. Unajua mimi nataka kufanya jobs.
Sijaongea vibaya. Hapana.
I want to ask another thing is, what would you say has been your worst audition? Of the many things that you're doing.
First audition, I think it happened last year. Langeri had called me for an audition for a certain series. No, it was a certain feature film. It was an international feature film. So I go in, and then I had rehearsed these lines. I think it was just a thing, yeah. Oh my god, it's a very big thing, so I need to be a certain, I need to be. And then I should have just calmed down. I didn't need to have my head to be all up in my head, because even if you've done this for a while, there's some of those opportunities that come and you're always in your head. And I believe that contributed a lot to how I performed. Because looking at it now, I'm like, bro, you had time. Ungefikiria tu, ungetulia tu, hakukuwa na haraka. ni Langiri mko na yeye kwa hiyo place. This is someone you've known, you've seen, you talked to. And yeah, it was aliniambia tu yeah, unfortunately this time hatukuchagua. However, you normally know. I think creatives don't feel, you will feel something at the moment. However, you have to deal with rejection so constantly that
it doesn't hurt as much.
Oh, okay. Hii ni ingine tu nimeuma nje. Inauma roho kidogo, but yeah, so I think at that time hiyo ndio iliniumiza roho kidogo. Nikakaa chini nikajiuliza, sijui kwa aliniita audition. Nilifanya tu audition mbaya. Every single act in Kenya has had a bad audition. Every single act in Kenya will have a bad audition. And that's just it. You learn uko like, oh, okay, look back in hindsight ujue, oh, nilifanya. Yeah, it is majorly a you problem sometimes. And other times, pia, it's just a skill issue.
Oh, like for a certain character.
Thing to hauna skill. Ni skill to hauna.
You mean like acting skill?
Even that. At times you just can't act vizuri. That's jokes. You're not all good actors. Not everyone who's being put on screen
is a good actor.
It's not even a joke. We the stuff I have seen, the stuff probably I've been in that I've watched, niko like, yak, nimefanya kitu mbaya. I'm like, mbona mnanipeanga hizi roles? Because sometimes it's either being overly critical or just you learn. And yeah, that was a bad choice. Knowing what I know now, in hindsight, that was a bad choice. But I was a kid then, I was a child then, and this is what I came up with. This is what I created from utoi wangu. Now, knowing what I know now, I go, oh, okay. Sasa ubaya ni ubaki kwa hiyo state ya kuwa mtoi well into your career, so that everyone watching your stuff, anything you put out there, they're telling themselves, this guy's such a one-dimensional actor. And yeah, it's true for some people. One direction.
Please let the guy rest. The guy rest.
Copyright. Yeah, but ama wengine tu, you're just famous. People just know you. And that's why it's easier for you to get cast again. And that's the thing. Like, watu wakikujua, it's easier kucast tena. And that's why you learn how kuteta juu ya same faces. There's some same faces, quote unquote, who have good branding. Amazing. But mi utoi niambia mtu kama Blessing Lungaho ajui kile anafanya. That man is actually talented. And ukiangalia kazi yenye anaputa, and even how he presents himself as an actor, portfolio yake nini, like, yeah, Blessing is an amazing actor, guys. Acheni kujam.
But then when he's a villain, he's a dickhead.
Unamwona unajam. Akiwa mtu mpoa ni mpoa. Like, unamwona umsa anajua kitu anadu. Justin Willich is an amazing actor. Utaniambia ati una ni mwingine. The actors I watch and think, kasi ni wanoma. Mtasema same faces.
But
there's a reason they're the same faces. Well, other than the fringe,
John CB as well.
Jeso nani, that's a legend. Jeso nani pia Rimodo Fula is always going to get work by virtue of being like he knows his stuff. Ata Ian Bogo, he knows his stuff.
100%.
I think also he's called Eugene, not Eugene Bogo. There's another actor, I forgot his name. Is it Eugene something? Forgotten his name. But he is fantastic. I'm on Reckless right now as a politician who's cheating on his wife. It's so funny to watch him act.
Black men don't cheat.
Well, black written men only cheat. No,
yeah. The ones in the shows.
Shows.
It's bad depiction of black men.
Yeah. So it's there's brilliant people.
Yes.
Even Umberto.
That's why I'm the problem because of the men I meet. I see you.
Kwa wao watu meet. Si wewe ndio denominator ama?
Jesus.
Okay, yeah.
What was it? They're not for the show. They do not reflect the something I picked up behind the scenes that you said is earlier on you found yourself taking on almost every other role you were being called for. How do you know what works for you now? And I don't think you go for a Mugambi role like this is something easy I can do, or this is something I can easily pull off.
I mean, the times you do put boilers, you lipe rent because you
Ni lazima.
unataka kulipa tu rent, or you want to buy something and you're like, okay, unalipa how much? Okay, I'm gonna give you a day. Because I can't give you more than that. I think it's just taking time and realizing that eventually, if a good project can come in and pay me enough not to work for 6 months, itakuja. And if another one comes,
Still living in that, I don't call it delusion, but it's still that.
it's not even a delusional thing because there are projects that are like that within our industry. People get a project that anajua nikifanya hii advert ama nikifanya hii film nikifanya hii nini for the next 1.5 years or 2 years, even if I don't show anything out here, I can go and establish a studio with whatever money I have. I can go and live my life fully with whatever I have. The other hata watu wenye wakonga political psychopaths wenye anaenda wanalipwa kawa wasanii wanalipwa pesa mingi, wenye anadecide hata kuwa wasanii tena, see they know unanipa pesa ngapi? Okay, with this money I'll go and live my life. I don't need to put out music anymore. I have money now. I don't really need to survive. I do this out of want. So it's a choice. It's a choice you have to consciously make and decide, is this really good, or am I just doing stuff because I can do? Kuna point you start out wanting people to acknowledge what you can do, then they acknowledge what you can do. Now from there you have to build a legacy or an identity with the projects you have. There are times you're gonna do stuff because they're your friends, and others you're gonna also not want to do because they're your friends. No, unajua beshte yangu akwandi creative hivyo. Tusidanganyane pia, kuna babeshte wako tu unajianga huyu si trust akili yake ama huyu si trust creativity yake, na si kwa ubaya, ni just because they've not learned
You know.
enough yet. You just know, hakuna haja ya kujifanya. And that hana nini atenda edit out acha kurecord tu saa hizo mtajam.
And that was the last time we saw Raphael.
Inaisha hapa tu katikati bro, utaamini.
Let me also point something out. We saw a lot of creatives almost panicking the minute they heard Showmax was closing. And we are worried more so because where does African content go now?
Where was it going before?
Wait, I mean, where is it being shown? I think that's the word. And getting us higher paying. Guys are able to.
Where was it going before? Mimi niko najiulizia swali. Also, with the trend that had been there, I had seen shows. I had watched Showmax shows, and even by interaction with other people who've been cast in a lot of them, and even the ones that we had been cast in, you notice over time budgets will be D. They rebranded. I think was it about twice, somebody once. There's a rebrand.
Forget what the name was. Yeah.
They just once. Yeah, they just changed colors and whatever, and then it became a different. It's different but the same. More modern, whatever. New up. It was a very interesting shift. However, budget haiku much whatever this new shift needed, because now you noticed budgets zimekuwa slower ama fewer ama watu wame misappropriate. We didn't really know, but budgets felt like they were getting not dipping. And then when you read from Canal Plus and DSTV margin, like getting bought by Canal Plus, and then inakuwa a whole thing, you're like, okay, these guys are gonna bring in funding or whatever, because hiyo ndio ulikuwa unasoma.
That's what was expected. The trajectory to school.
Hata ndio ilikuwa imeandikwa gonna coming with X amount of funding. People already talking about newer shows coming in because of Canal Plus, whatever. And then they decided to look at their finances and realized Showmax is leaking money. Content of Showmax is really good. It's African good content. However, it's not profitable as much because people would rather pirate the shows. It's easier to pirate than to buy because we have not been given a subscription or a value system ya kulipia vitu tunaona as entertainment. We've been used to free entertainment for a bit too long that being asked to pay for something becomes
A bit of
normal, but
like I want to support, but
you'd rather buy a movie at the cyber for 30 bob than pay or 50 bob than pay for Showmax on your phone for 300 bob, or the one that gets to your TV or whatever for like 1500. Was it 1500? My 1800 now, I can't remember. But you would rather do that instead because tulizoeshwa piracy is the way to go. And if you're pirate,
even worse where there's camera copy, like I'd rather watch nimeona. Point is to watch na nimeona.
So you'd rather pirate whatever, or you'd rather not. You'd rather pirate than actually have a working system, a working show yenye unalipia subscription thing. Ndio waseme enyewe, since Showmax rebranded, we've had 300,000 more subscriptions, to the point where now they see the need of expanding not just in major towns and cities in Kenya or people who have Wi-Fi, to even more remote spaces in Kenya zenye watu wanajua the same place, the same reach yenye local TV iko nayo ndio the same reach streaming would have had. However, that's not the case. Je, utaambia utarationalize aje mtu alipie Showmax and yet collect? Naweza enda nione show kwa nini? Naweza enda ni torrent hii stuff. Naweza enda ni pirate hii stuff ni what?
Gosh.
No, there's something I've noticed though for specifically Showmax. But I don't think this is not localized to the entertainment industry here. I think it's Africa-wide. I noticed that there were some shows that were just remakes of one another.
That's a DSTV thing. That's a multi-choice thing. If I'm not gonna, there was a time where you look at shows. Yeah, what new?
He's naming them.
No, the specific shows, because there's one that I reached the end of season 1 and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for another 2 years before they produce another one.
Shock on you.
So I went and I looked. South Africa have the same. Oh, this person actually dies. Damn.
It just ruined the plot for you.
The Kenyan version, because I think these adaptations have been the lifeblood of our Kenyan productions for a while now, because eventually, ultimately, I think as a business owner, you would still think of it, because multi-choice DSTV are still business people at the end of the day. And as much as they're providing content, or like which one worked, where,
how can we milk more
with the people who can afford DSTV and GoTV. These are people of a certain caliber in Kenya, or a certain financial status, and this is their taste. These are markers of their taste, because they're very similar. People will watch very similar stuff depending on how they're socialized. Now utapata, this worked for middle class to upper class demographic in South Africa. Let's try it out in Nairobi and see how it works. That's how The River becomes Kina. You watch Kina and you're like, oh, okay. Gomorrah becomes Salem. That's how some shows just merge into other things. Rockville, Reckless. So you just Ata Abumama, Faithless. So it's take this show, try it out with this demographic, find Renee's, because you guys are the ones funding and giving us everything. We know how much we used to make this show. And we have seen how much you guys need to make a show, because what they used to make Kina is not the same that they used to make The River. But was the content similar? Like, okay, yeah, in a couple, it makes sense. So the budget changes for Kenya. However, if it had stayed the same, probably so much would have changed for so many people. I would try to talk on behalf of people na mobaya. However, you just notice trends when even as a participant of the entertainment industry, you will always notice yeah, it's just easier for them. However, you find people like Vincent Mbaya making Pepeta, an original one, and putting it on Showmax, and everyone talks about Pepeta with such, oh yeah, Pepeta ni kali, by the way. Hii show ni noma, imeko Showmax ni noma, ni kali. Sasa unless na Vincent. Well, yes, do like it's a
It was a really well done.
yeah, it's a man, it's such a weird space to be in right now. Tunajama to Showmax imeenda. You know, Showmax is not just Kenyan. It's Showmax is a whole. It's an African space for African content. However, we still used to put out content before Showmax, before streaming. We still had places to put our content. Were they the best? Not exactly. Can we build our own? Because now we don't need.
Can we build our own?
We have people have built their own. However, do we like them? Do you want to use Netflix or Viusasa? Because Netflix has a better ring to it and has legacy to it. It's been there for a couple of years, for decades actually. Wewe unaona Viusasa, you're thinking, no, it just sounds. Sasa nani
Honestly,
usema
me, I've said
Viusasa?
Viusasa, but I think the line when there was a show that was recommended to me called Sufuria ya Kiuchawi. That was the beginning and the end of that journey. And I actually sat and I watched like an hour long of this thing because episodes were 1.5 hours for some reason. And this
Sufuria ya kiuchawi.
it would actually float.
The sufuria.
It's so post-based, by the way. So it would float around, and then it would talk to kids.
The sufuria. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sawa, yeye ni
Ile-
mchawi kweli.
Yeah. And then the kids would become like demons and would
What?
be demons.
But I remember there was a time when this band TV show, Shamba la Wanyama, was done. Shamba la Wanyama was supposed to be that show that, yes, Viusasa is a good streaming platform show. And then Gaveka banned because the churches were mad. Because ideally, they talked about some churches, the Council of Churches. I think it was NCCK who actually came out and spoke out against it. However, what they're talking about is a reality of so many people. So many people have been hurt by society, the church society. The people who claim that they represent God are the ones who've hurt so many people. And as a result, many people have withdrawn. And this show is literally there to highlight stuff. And CCK proved to us that they're just a reflection of our leaders, because anytime you want to talk about a leader in an artistic manner,
You become defensive.
watu wanakasirika, unajaa, and then you ban it. So if you're gonna do that to also art, we end up having an ecosystem of very safe family shows that, bro,
There are a lot of kumbaya. I'm just like, this is us.
This is, we're always happy and it's beautiful, and
Which is not the
love stories
case.
need to revolve around ghetto boy, good girl, and whatever, and things, or ghetto girl, good boy, and rich boy, or a
who has a brother
who's
and is not in good
There is a Kenyan writer.
Then there is a woman, the mother-in-law is always upset,
and we
she has
forget
no favorite.
that
that's
the same,
for better days, man.
but the same, we forget that Mugambi and Raf and and Judy are gonna sit down and enjoy a show like 24, or a show that has so many complex storylines, relationships within layers between the actors, and we forget that these are the same people consuming first world content that is so good. You can sit down and watch a movie like Parasite, and you're like, oh my god, this is such an amazing movie, I love it. However, whenever you want to pitch to someone who could actually put that on a platform that you can stream on, that is Kenyan, quote unquote, unaambiwa, it a confused audience. Bro, try it. The audience doesn't know what it likes.
That's true.
We can't say Kenyan TV is bad when all we are doing is just doing soap operas. Soap operas have a certain way of working. They have a certain storyline that works. They have a certain plot. Now wanafuatanga couple beats and whatever. That's why telenovelas will always be telenovelas. You can't tell me a telenovela is gonna be the same as a crime drama or a sports drama or something of the sort, or a periodical zenye zinakuwa na NCIS at solving things on it. Haitakuwa the same. It's not the same as an epic. And we have people with stories that are like this, the political stories we could tell. However, watu wakianza kunusa walipata information aje, more people knowing about it. If our own government can be mad at children from 2 East ama sijui West wametengeneza play kusogava inabaniwa, how are you gonna tell us they're gonna allow us to do a story about JM Kariuki, for example? Najua nani alipata info, nani aliongea, nani alisnitch, then usikie filmmakers walipatwa, Mugambi alipatwa akiwa uchi kwa Nairobi River with a condom on or something. You know, I don't know. It's a thing.
Ultra specific.
It's ultra specific. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is that how you want to go?
No, we are cancelling that.
No, hiyo ni mbaya. Because once you talk about a certain issue, artists, hiyo ndio point yetu.
That's your job.
Hiyo ndio job yetu. Talk about a specific role, a specific thing in society. Mbona tunaambiwa nyamaza? Why are we being gagged? And it's not, it's fictional. If it's fictional, let it be. Munaogopa watu wakuwe aware of what is happening because it's not serving an agenda. It's not being used as propaganda for you guys. The same way Hollywood started with so many propaganda films back in the day, to the point where now it's letting people do art films and people are actually watching and like, hey, Oscar worthy, beautiful, right? Yeah. My name is.
I'm asking the Monica. You guys weren't paying attention. The drums.
Oh,
he was from which tribe? You close?
It's Suba, or is it? No,
Don't even look at me.
Yes. Oh, Luya Bukusu. Some Bukusu are not Luya. Is it the subtribe?
If you say so.
Okay, so Bukusu. Yeah. Alafu wazazi wake ni wana.
But now, I'm worried we're leaving the episode like on a gloom. No, it's like a gloom. See, we will, but as we're wrapping up the episode, I started by asking what happens now, and the retort was, where was African content going in the first place? Because you pointed it out that we don't necessarily consume our own content like that. So, like, moving forward, or face forward, what opportunities exist now, or what, like, where are we aiming at right now? Is it trying to get people to consume more African content? I'm just left at I'm wondering now what happens now.
The thing is, we have spaces where we can actually do that. Come on YouTube. However we want to talk about, no, it's not enough. Butita has done shows on YouTube. Some very amazing, others not very well known. However, honestly, kuna shows. I remember after Anastoto, I now say going back and watching some other things. I'm like,
I remember.
Some very, very, like, people have known them. Like, enormous. And others
not so well known.
Come on, I'm not.
Let him be PC, man. Yeah.
Miss you honestly.
Ni sawa atujui by the
Awinja, YY. These people feel, and they even have their own feelittv.com platform. There's also Rufa TV. I know that there's also one that's called Shufa TV that's coming up. There's so many different places. There's also view sasa yenye tunataka kuongelea vibaya na dini ya wachawi. People have put out content out there. Quote unquote.
Point of correction. Ni sufuria.
Sorry. It's yeah. People now we need to.
But do I want to sit down to watch sufuria?
It's make a community. Create a community, because the same way people Mukuru they made a community. The point where people come and watch shows and his films and are going to still sit on nini na angalie is mashows zingine ziko hadi for your boy as Bluetooth. Undercover and all these projects out here. People are gonna watch them if they know you put out stuff. People have watched Disco Matanga by Zaki Vike so many times because she has made it known iko. People have watched YY's projects because wanajua YY anafanya projects. Butita ametuwekea anastoto Dekabamba wa Kenya to a point where even local
Went on
TV
nini-
were like,
yeah.
hebu come tuwekee hii hapa hata watu waone.
Kuna wengine walifanya pia wabende.
No, hii kina nimesahau yeye na Ted Munene because I know I've seen
Kamam.
People are putting out stuff. There is a space for Kenyan content, for Kenyan shows, for African shows. If you're not willing to now either create your own things or have better distribution channels that are not just backed by other people, to struggle. Because nikuulize, how many other Kenyan films have you watched? Have you gone to cinema to watch other than things you've seen on Netflix or Showmax? Have you actually ever gone to a cinema to watch, like, for example, She Gets Me? It was screening a couple of many. It was a film called She Gets Me. It was screening a couple of weeks ago. Watu wangapi wamewatch? Ama hii ya kina Charlene Wangare, nani what's this called? Niko na Saboke as a lead as well. Yeah, Saboke and Mufasa. I forgot the name of the film. Yeah, I forgot the name of the film. It's a funny film.
That one.
It's a really nice film. What would you watch pia? I think Nafsi ni lini bro? 2021.
Since you haven't been back since. Oh, this other comedy that was nani? Forget the names. I remember the poster. I remember.
Oh, Nini.
You haven't.
Vincent Bayer one.
I know it was I loved it. I think it was premiered last year.
Sketchy Africans.
There we go. A Sketchy AF. That was so good. I loved it.
If people are not, because those ones went all out in marketing that way.
Does that mean it becomes now a marketing problem? Is that why?
It's also people don't even know about some films. I
know that's true.
Always ukijua kona show saa hizi. Kama when we did what was this one with Pascal? Makosani yangu. When we did Makosani yangu, people knew about Makosani yangu to the point where tulijaza Sarit. I think was it 6,000 people? Yeah, 60,000. I can't remember the number. 6,000. Can't remember that. That was the biggest screening in East. I think East Central Africa. Bro, the Trinity experience. Three things. What wanakuja concert ya nani Hat the Band because they also did the score for the film. Wanawacha filamu na wanapata special ya contribution kwa Mkuru. Either of them, I can't remember. It's a whole thing. Ini team nakuja mnafanya hivyo. People knew about it. People knew about Sketchy AF because it was all over Nairobi. Hiyo ungekosa kuiona. Ilikuwa all over every
I remember. I knew about it because I saw the ads
on social media and whatever. The films, I will never lie to you. Mimi sikujua about them until nikakuwa in the industry. And then I went and watched them and I'm like,
why is it hidden?
Why was it hidden? Kitu kama Soapy. You guys are not, I'm sure you watched Soapy. It's a film where Brenda Wairimu is a Maasai lady. And she speaks, she has monologues in Maasai. It's an old movie. She did it beautifully. Uko like, I see why you're still in the industry. You're really good at this stuff. There's the films zenye niko sure. Haujaona George Moore as a lead character anapendwa hivyo other than now Lulu. But before the watu wako wamenotice George Moore can actually even act. Watu wanaweza act. Watu wanaweza fanya kazi. Where were they? Zile kwa platforms that not everyone can pay for. Pay to understand not everything is going to be, it should be itakuwa accessible to everybody. Na si kubaya, not in a gatekeeping kind of way. It's just that kama huwezi afford pay pole. Is it a bad thing? Yes.
Is it though? I think it's just a thing.
It is what it is. This is where si kila mtu anaweza afford Netflix, si kila mtu anaweza Si kila mtu
Na
anaweza
pia kuna
afford.
watu wa Citizen 2 TV.
Citizen pekee.
Do we know you?
Ushaiona mzungu ako na hii kitu ya polio?
Inakwanga polio, inakwanga
Nipo
tuberculosis.
ni polio.
CBCG ni TB.
Ni TB?
Bro, wewe.
Ni TB?
What?
TB.
How do we want to wrap this up? What's your takeout? I mean, how do we wrap this? What do you want our viewers to actually take out from this?
If you love Kenyan content, do as much as possible to access it. No, I'm gonna say it's an if. For me, it's an if because I know people try to say that I love it. What have you watched? Only Citizen and local TV free to air. Then do you really love it? Go to film festivals, go to film screenings, wherever you can. Go to YouTube, find short films by Kenyan release, find feature films by Kenyan creatives. Talk about them, whether they're good or bad. Talk about them, because it's only by us having conversations. Us having conversations.
Honest
about
mass.
it.
I see you.
Having conversations about this. Ni normal. Kuna mdada ajui kuna variety inaitwa has akuende. It's only by having conversations and seeing them and patronizing these places, more people will know about Kenyan content stuff. Hate calling it content because it's supposed to be art, but it is content. We need to make money out of this. Kusema ukweli. If you're one of those people who say Kenyan content is just bad because everybody feels like they're overacting, or
they have the same actors over and over again.
Do you not go to the same mechanic when your car is done? Do you not go to the same dentist? Do you not go to someone you actually know and trust? Don't you go to the same supermarket and get served by the same attendant? Acha ujinga. Vinyozi nilihama kuna mwenye recommend tangu standard 2 to Fadia, and then I moved from Nyeri and I had another one for I think like 3
in your life.
Moving. It's just because of moving. Saizi I have a
Same concept.
Yeah. it's a loyalty thing. Jua huyo anajua kazi anazafanya. Anakubamba. Yes. What I think people have an issue is not even same faces. It's same character. I can't be funny boyfriend in the first show I ever did and still be funny boyfriend
In the 6th show you do.
17th show I'm doing, 6th show I'm doing with the same character, because that one worked for that. People thought I was good for that. Now if I'm cast as a detective, no need for me to be funny boyfriend and then with slight needs of detective. No. Go detective. The next role I'm given, if I'm a rapist or because you're gonna get all these weird roles. Go be that guy for that moment. De-roll, because zingine lazima de-roll mazee, acha ujinga. And give people something that when they watch you, they can say, hey, by the way, first time niliona Bilal Mora alikuwa dingo. Saizi namuona yani msee noma. First time niliona Dedan Juma alikuwa karao. Saizi yeye ni zeze. Give them range. That way haitakuwa same faces kind of thing. Unless you're just cast because it's you who's being cast. Bye.
Yeah, bahati.
Hata akiwa katikati. Mao. Even the last time we had oh.
You think you're funny?
What? What?
Gawa hiyo chapo.
Mimi kuna take away.
Oh, take it away.
Both of you.
The last time when we had a similar discussion, we had Joyce Musoke tell our viewers, when you see the poster, when you see people talking about it, go and watch. The same way you've said, even if it's bad, endo one. If it's good,
What's your filamu where Joyce Musoke, she's the lead there. Ama is it Joyce?
filamu gani itana?
She gets me Kona Joyce. I can't remember if it's Joyce. It's not Joyce. Oh, I forgot. Okay, wanafanana na nani? Angie.
And
Oh, I know Angie. Wanafanana. Okay, to do.
when you see the poster, when you see people talking about it, go and watch. See you next time, guys. Bye.